Coming to you live from Alola's Battle Royale Dome, it's the one, the only PUCL Battlecast.
And welcome to episode 23 of the Battlecast. I am your host, Seth Vilo, here with some other brilliant brains. We've got the encyclopedia himself, Mr. R. Sigma.
Howdy!
And making his second appearance on the Battlecast, and consecutively, might I add, is Mr. P McGee. How are you?
Good. I'm happy you let me back.
Well, when your name turned green, I had no choice, so... That's how we do here, sort of, now that, yeah. Anyway, how are you guys? We're here to discuss battling, and it's going to be a great old time, and we've got a weird thing that we're doing this time, as you saw when you clicked the title. We are going to look into the battle spot singles meta here when we get to the topic, because we've got the UUTC going on, and I think, are both of you in that, or is it just you, P McGee?
Both of us are in it.
Yeah, both of us, yeah.
Gotcha. So yeah, we've got that. That's kind of a PUCL metagame instead of a Smogon metagame. So we wanted to give a little bit of attention to that because it's just cool. It's really neat. And you can play it online against just actual people other than PUCL in your spare time. And we wanted to do a little bit of attention to that. But before we do that, you know, we've got the normal stuff. We've got the tier updates because there have been a few of them. And we've got us just kind of talking what we like to do, what kind of fun we like to have. So what's been your flavor of the month there, Mr. R Sigma? What's on your team recently?
Let's see. On Stadium Singles, I've been enjoying Seismitoad with the Dynamax Rain support. So you set up your own Swift Swimming Rain, and I go with the physical one right now with Life Orb, and it's got Liquidation this generation with Earthquake and Power Whip. So good coverage and a fun time. Power
Whip has gotten some weird things.
Yeah.
Get it now.
It's like, Gyarados. Yeah, that makes sense. Sure.
Yeah. Like I thought that was going to bust the entire metagame open, but here we are. It has not yet, but
I mean, it deals with Rotom Wash now, which is nice.
It does.
It likes that answer. It likes that answer a lot.
Yeah, weird Power Whip distribution, but you know, I'm all for it because grass needs love. How about you, P McGee? What's been on your thing?
I have refused to give up on Dracovish. I am determined to make sure he stays good and stays used, and the second everyone gives up using their Seismitoads, I'll be back with a real vengeance. But I'm keeping him alive in BSS and OU and trying to make the best of him. But in BSS, which is what I've been trying to play more of lately because of the UUTC, I've been playing around with Gyarados a lot just because he's so easy to use. I mean, if you don't get a chance, you don't even need to set up with him. You just go straight to Max Airstream and you're off to the races because you get the Moxie boost every time you knock something out.
Using it, I have moved to like the 4 attacks version and don't even bother with Dragon Dance anymore.
Really? Wow.
Because you just boost your speed and attack by killing things with Airstream.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and it does the Moxie. Yeah, you're right. It's the same thing.
It's so easy. It's so easy to use him. And he can unreasonably survive like Volt Switches, which he should die to. He still survives those. And so it's just really, really easy to do a lot with him.
I've already turned off the Dynamax part of my brain, so hearing this is giving me a little bit of stress that I wasn't experiencing when I woke up this morning.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about that anymore.
No.
Yeah. Flying Wands are good again.
Yeah.
They lost. I don't know if there's any other than Corviknight, but he's not really playing off his flying type that much. I mean, there's not a lot going on in the OU with flying, so it's fun to see them all active and having fun again.
OU is the land of ghosts.
Yeah.
It is now. It is now, and I couldn't be happier. I love
BSS is the land of the flying coverage.
Yeah. Well, on mine, I've been kind of trying to make some random garbage work every now and again. I was on a real big Appleton kick for a couple weeks this month. And it works, like, especially when I discovered the thing. I know that Hens has mentioned this a couple times in our area, and it's been all over now, is aromatherapy clefable.
Ooh.
Because, what does Appleton like to switch in on? The same thing that Dracovish likes to get away from, and that is seismitoad / gelicant / anything else that absorbs water. And they like to toxic you, or seismitoad specifically, and the others will come home, hopefully. But, so you switch in the Appleton, okay, you get toxic, who cares? You send out clefable and aromatherapy it away, and then you're like, hello, I'm back. And I'm still leech seeding, and I still have recover. It's great.
I love aromatherapy clefable. The very first week of OU for this gen, I was running that on all my teams because it was just... everyone was trying to do everything, and so it just lets you play around with things a lot longer when you got surprised toxic or burned. So I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan. I need to go back to using him again because clefable was doing a lot for me. And everyone right now. I guess clefable is pretty good.
I guess it's pretty good, he says.
Has it ever not been good? Like, ever?
I can assure you that in Gen 4 it was not.
Yeah,
because I tried.
Wasn't that the time of the belly drum?
Yes, stop
Clefable.
reminding me. That was one of my favorite things to run because clefable was always a favorite of mine. So I would belly drum double edge with Life Orb back when it had stab on it.
As you do.
Good times. Or rather, as I established, not good times. But here we are, and we've kind of talked a little bit of what we've been enjoying on our own time, which is sometimes I'm serious with it, other times really not. But that's not what we're going to talk about next. What we're going to talk about next is the actual things, the relevant things going on in the respective Smogon tiers. And we're going to spend a good bit of time on this one because we're going to be talking Battle Spot, an entirely different animal in the topic. So we'll be right back with a sort of kind of maybe pseudo extended-ish tier time.
And now it's time to see the results of this month's Blood, Sweat, and Tearing.
And we're back. We're going to start talking the tiers, and like always, we start from the top. So Sigma, what's going on amongst the limited choice of gods that we have right now?
So we actually found out that we are going to get the old Ubers back at some point thanks to the DLC. It probably won't be until the fall at some point, but hopefully Home will give us a little taste with some Gen 5 legends and some Mars Shadows and some we get Mewtwo too. And the Ultra Necrozma, or not Ultra Necrozma, but the Necrozma friends. So that'll be fun. Those will hopefully be coming at some point in February. Hopefully.
Yeah, whenever Home drops. All we heard is February. Some of us are guessing it'll probably be Pokemon Day, which is February 27th.
Yeah, hopefully we get news on it well before that, though.
I would like to know what app I need to put on my phone.
Yeah.
Right?
They've said they're going to talk about it, so I'm hopeful we actually get some real discussion on what that is, and it's not a very broad, basic 2-minute video.
I imagine we'll get a direct, very short one.
Yeah, another... I think the one for Bank was about 12 minutes. I could see something like that again.
Yeah. Anyway.
That's good.
But
we're not the direct predicting podcast, so...
it'll get populated a little more soon, and we'll get more than 3 Pokemon. So...
We got 4 now. We got 4.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
We got a 4th.
We haven't gotten to that yet. And he's not mentioned in these notes. So since we don't have a lot of Uber tier Pokemon, Excadrill and T-Tar are actually doing really well right now because, they hit Eternatus and Zacian. T-Tar is even running Flamethrower right now to deal with the Ferrothorns. Another Pokemon that's doing well right now is Sableye with its Prankster ability to disrupt things with Will-O-Wisp and Disable to shut down any choice users in that tier. Cough, Darmanitan, that may or may not be there now. Cough. And it also has Encore to stop anything that's trying to set up in its face. And apparently, because Seth is the one who wrote these notes, Reuniclus is wearing a Salt Vest Regenerator to deal with Eternatus as of right now. So it's an interesting time in Ubers while we wait for Pokemon to populate.
I'm just kind of lacing my personal biases in here. Sableye A rank, Reuniclus is there up to counter Eternatus. Like, oh, that's Ubers.
I wonder who wrote these notes.
I don't know. I don't know. But I mean, other than that, like, Excadrill is just fantastic because it can kind of do a little of everything. It clears hazards for you, and it just with its single stab, it knocks out the two biggest, ugliest, nastiest threats in the tier. So,
Yeah,
and the other one doesn't exist because it's kind of bad.
Yeah.
This is true. And I can't imagine weather's a hard-fought thing in Ubers. I don't imagine there's a lot of teams fighting for weather control. So you can probably get sand up pretty reliably.
I don't imagine anyone's fighting in Ubers, but might be.
All
Someone's
12
there.
people playing Ubers don't have to worry about weather. I think once we get some cool things dropping, maybe by this time next month, maybe not. We'll figure it out as we go. We might be talking like the crazy. I'm sure we'll be talking the crazy effects of home soon. So
Yeah, like
stay
there's
tuned.
No Xerneas coming right away, which is kind of nice because Xerneas has been running Ubers for the past 2 generations. No Megas, no Primal Groudon coming out.
Oh my gosh, I didn't think of that.
Yeah, it's all going to be Duskmane Necrozma.
I forgot about the whole fact that the Primal might. Well,
yeah,
I could see them putting Primal in because it's weird, but I don't think they will.
I'm not expecting it. We'll see if they find a way to get Ultra Necrozma in too, but
Yeah,
I'm not
Who
holding
knows?
my breath. But Duskmane
Neither am I.
Necrozma is a good enough Pokemon, so I don't think it matters.
Yeah.
Duskmane Necrozma and Lunala are going to be great for the tier. Solgaleo is probably going to be fine. Maybe Kyurem with its new move pool can do something. Maybe.
Yeah, all of exactly one move.
2 moves.
2 moves? What's the
don't
second
know.
one? Icicle Spear and what?
Dragon Dance. Didn't have
Oh,
that before.
yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, it could
Never
actually
mind.
be a threat now. So,
I forgot about Dragon Dance.
yeah, the scary one.
Whoops.
Like you can run physical Reshiram too if you really want to. I think it has a well enough attack stat, so
It's probably
it'll be
got,
fun.
like,
Marshadow
120-ish.
doesn't get to steal Xerneas thing, so it might actually be fair.
Yeah.
So yeah, exciting time for that tier.
Yep.
Coming soon.
It will be. We're gonna jump over the big tier here and come back to that at the end because, like I said, this is kind of a weird extended version of tier time because it's a totally different thing we're talking about in the topic. So we're gonna skip over OU for right now. And P McGee, what's going on in underused?
So in, January, we officially got the alpha out. We got out of the alpha stage for UU. So now we officially have Pokemon that were situated there and ones that slid down to RU. So I think it was something like 46 Pokemon that were officially put into UU. And then we had a few from OU that fell down. So we had who was it? Halucha and Barrascuda. Well, we had Halucha for a hot minute. We now actually have a BL tier. And so a couple of them have fallen out of there. The ones that were doing really well in that tier for a bit. Halucha loved that all of the terrain setters like Pincurchin and Indeedee and Galarian Weezing belonged in UU. So he was rocking and rolling for a good 2 days or something like that. And he got banned right out.
As you
And
should.
then, as he should have. And then
Like,
a couple
he got
of
Brave Bird this gen too.
Yeah, he's got everything he wants, and he's
Close
got terrain
combat,
setters
Brave
still.
Bird. Remember last gen when it was stuck like high jump kicking things?
Yeah,
Now it can kind of set it by itself by just close combat white herb, like you said.
Yeah.
it can do whatever it wants, and so it's back to being. It was the first Pokemon to be put in the BL, the barely legal. So he's got a new home there. He's got some teammates in there now, or some friends. Crawdont, Gengar, Obstagoon didn't stay there very long, so they're all back to the BL tier. Crawdont's been UU for a while. He was UU most of last gen, I think, and so he kind of got bumped up for this one. And then Obstagoon barely missed out on OU last time. So these aren't really big surprises, but they've kind of found their way back up. Again, reading off a Seth's note, we got some Reuniclus doing some things in UU.
Whoa. I feel attacked. That one wasn't just me. I was reading through the forums, and that was a big concern. Like, when Gengar, Obstagoon, and Crawdont are all gone, what comes to fill the gap? A Jelly Boy. That's what
I mean,
happened.
I'm not surprised that the knockoff Pokemon are gone, because knockoff is so sparsely given out right now, and it's extremely powerful in a world where everything can get knocked off.
Exactly. And Real-Eclipse wasn't bad before. It just had problems getting rid of some of these major threats, especially things like Crawdon and Obstagoon, because they could just sit there and come and knock off at any time. And all you had to rely to kill them was Focus Blast, and that's never a good spot to be. So, yeah, he's doing well. We're seeing a higher use in Drapion now to help kind of counter that, because Drapion doesn't really care about Focus Blast and doesn't care at all about Psychic. So he's been around as a good counter. Does he get knockoff? Is that correct? Or he just got Night Slash?
I don't know if it does yet.
I don't know either. I
don't think it does. But I'm not sure on that.
But another knockoff user we do have is Centiscorch, who has found a good home in UU. He's got some fun stuff with his coil. He's one of the other ones that got Power Whip this gen, so he can use that effectively against some of the Watermons. They're not as common in this one, some of the defensive water ones, just because Dracovish isn't here, and I'm sure no one's complaining about that. But he does some fun
have knockoff,
stuff.
By the way, Drapion.
Yeah, Drapion.
Oh, he does? Okay. That's good. And then, what is it? Centiscorch also has Fire Lash, which is still a really great move that is very limited distribution. I think it's just him and Heatmore, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so it's a good move. Always lowers defense. It's a good way of getting through some walls. A lot of heavy duty boot usage going on in this tier right now, because a lot of the hazard control mons do not enjoy the hazards. Things like Avalugg, things like Noivern, even Mr. Rhyme are finding use because of rapid spin. So the heavy duty boots are allowing them to come in and out a little bit more and take care of things that might have otherwise whittled them down quicker.
That's a great item this gen, though, too.
Yeah. Wheezing continues to be good. I mean, he's a solid defensive wall. He's got some fun options with Will-O-Wisp, with Strange Steam for confusion. I've run mine with Memento in the past just to help set up sweepers in the Dynamax times, but haven't tried that as much since. He has Aromatherapy, since we were talking about that earlier. He has Aromatherapy, which is very fun to use, because you can come in on Will-O-Wisps and you don't have to lose that mon for the game. You can get him nice and healthy again. So he's enjoying his time there, I think. And then Rhyperier's been on the rise, both in UU and OU, just because he has some things he can do. He's got a good defensive options. He's got some good physical attack options. So he's got a lot of different things that are being run. And you can always make him work on a Trick Room team, although that's not as common, I would say. Sigilif is kind of your poor man's Clefable right now, just because he has Magic Guard, and so he can do some of those fun Life Orb shenanigans with, I guess it's Air Slash, Psychic.
Heat Wave,
I think
is the other
Heat
one.
Heat Wave, a very good coverage move, and then some other attack. So he's having a great time. I don't think I've ever really used Sigilif outside of randoms back in Gen 7. He had that traditional Cosmic Power, Cosmic Shift set or whatever that.
Yeah.
Psycho Shift, yeah, he was actually my favorite one to get in randoms, but I haven't played around with him much in UU this gen, so I probably should give him another run.
I'm glad he has a spot.
Yeah, he has a spot. He has things he can do. He was definitely solidly UU when Dynamax was around. He was one of the other ones that really enjoyed being able to max Airstream. But I don't know what else is going on in UU. I'm trying to think off the top of my head what I've been seeing.
That's kind of what I've been seeing as well. Sigilif is like all over the place in UU and in other tiers as well. We'll talk about that more in a moment, but it's also in OU too, and RU. It's kind of everywhere. That's something that's omnipresent through the tiers, and it's just kind of
nice
annoying wherever it goes.
Doesn't it?
Yeah,
at least for right now.
I think it's 95. I feel like it's 95. I can verify that. Oh, we were wrong, by the way. Salazzle also gets Fire Lash.
Yeah, I thought about that, but it's Salazzle, so I don't think it matters.
Salazzle's been a really weird one this gen, because I've seen him in UU mostly, but he does she does the Protect, Toxic, Substitute, and then I think like Fire Flamethrower is like a coverage move or something like that, and just stall Toxics you. And it has terrible defenses, so it's a really weird thing to see, but it's doing it.
I've seen it pull a Dragapult as well, and instead of Protect, it does Disable.
Oh, that's what I've seen as well, now that you say that. Yeah. He's got some, or she has some weird things. I still can't, I don't ever see Salazzle. Salazzle it was kind of interesting for a hot minute when Gen 7 first started, and then it fell off the radar pretty quickly, so it's interesting to see her find some new niches in this gen.
She's very fast, and that has that unique typing, and
and
That's
corrosion. It's also one of the few things that gets toxic right now, and it can hit everything. So that's another thing.
That's the big thing. But yeah,
Sigilif is 97, by the way.
Which is a nice speed tier right now.
Very nice speed tier.
I think Sigilif has also benefited from the fact it's like one of the rare flying types that just doesn't care about stealth rocks. It can ignore those all games. So that helps
boots,
a lot.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to waste the boots. It gets to use its life orb because I think that's the most common thing it's running right now. And it just gets to come in on a lot of defensive things and hit them hard. It has good coverage moves.
Yeah, pretty much UU right now. We'll see what else gets banned when we get the next tier usage update. So
I'm excited.
Stay tuned for that. Moving right down along, we've got the ladder that is currently in alpha, and that is RU. It will exit alpha on February 1st, so the weekend
like 2
after
days.
this show comes out. Yeah. It'll finally be an official tier.
No, 2 days.
And
2 days.
then this time next month, we'll be adding NU to this list of tiers to see what the heck is going on there.
What's
And-
left? How many Sylve allies made it?
Yeah, how many of the remainder are down there? Well, I can tell you that at least the Steel and the Fairy type Sylve ally will not be there because they are incredibly good in RU right now.
That is understandable. They're good Pokemon.
And it's all like straight up offense for both of them because multi-attack got boosted. It got boosted from, I think, 90 to 120 base power, so it's even more deadly than before. Not quite how I wanted it to be buffed, but, I live with what I am given. Another couple things that are really cool are Steelix is back to rule RU as it did forever, and
Now it has body press.
now it has body press to do 1 billion damage. So, just combine Steelix with a Wish Passer and you're golden. Sigilif is here. Hooray. Doing Sigilif things.
now.
Similar to above. Yeah, for now. Until I haven't seen a Psycho Shift set because it's
Offensively,
crazy.
it's doing well right now.
Yeah. Life Orb with Life Orb 3 attack roost is just really good.
It doesn't need to turtle yet.
Yeah. Psychic and Fire, just as types offensively, are very good, it turns out. So yeah, the other thing down here, we mentioned Rhyperior is common in UU, and I don't know, they just have a thing for solid Pokemon, because in addition to Steelix, they've also got Gigalith, which is kind of, from what I've seen in reading through the threads and things, the thing that stops Hyper Offense from just running train through RU. That could be just its defensive stats or the fact that it has possibly Sturdy to react to that. But Gigalith is doing a good job at being a physical wall, so combine that with Wish as well. Wish has become a very big move this gen, I feel.
Oh, yeah. The evolutions definitely got that off and rolling pretty quickly, and it seems like everyone that can Wish now is finding some kind of use.
Yeah, the fact that we're talking about Flareon being viable in OU, possibly partly because of Wish, like, what?
Well, I mean, it's not Jolteon, so
It's not Jolteon. That's the only one that we've forgotten about. The other thing that's huge in RU, and absolutely huge, is Sun, because the two setters are down here with regular Ninetales and Torkoal. And they've also got a couple, here we are talking about evolutions again. They've got a couple abusers of chlorophyll down here, namely Leafeon and Shiftry. So there's probably others that I'm forgetting, but Sun is big down here. Vileplume as well, but
I mean, it's usually not abusing chlorophyll. It's just a perk being a Vileplume. But
the faster you can strength sap something, I guess, the better.
on that 45 speed, let's go.
Woo! So to counter Sun, people are coming up with interesting ideas. Some people want it banned, but others are trying to be creative in the meantime. One thing is Cloud9 Drampa with Surf is a thing.
That's cool. I forget Drampa exists, so that's cool.
Yeah. I haven't played with it in the TCG in way too long for me to remember that it is a Pokemon and not a movie series. But yeah, so Drampa's doing pretty good as far as being a weather stopper, or at least a dampener. Haha. Like I said earlier, Silvally is seen as a primarily offensive threat until, it all depends on what we get with Home. If Home does something funky and resets movesets upon landing in Sword and Shield. All this speculation is out the window, but Silvally could come back as a defensive pivot again when it gets a couple moves that it had last gen, namely Defog is a big one that it is really missing. But we'll find out. Hopefully we'll know by this time next month, so I'll have something to talk about in February. But we'll figure it out.
I would hope so.
And if, it's me, I'm going to give you a little bit of spice to put onto your shelf. And that for RU is Chinchino. Because if your problem is sturdy Gigalith, what better to break a sturdy Gigalith than a 5-shot Choice Band Bullet Seed? Mm-hmm. It's also one of the fastest things down there that's viable. Like, I'm not going to mention Ninjask. It doesn't count.
No, it doesn't. It kept Baton Pass. We don't talk about it.
No. The only other kind of viable thing at that speed tier is Salazzle, which I forget if it's in this tier or the one above it, but I'm pretty sure it's down here. And it competes with that. And Tail Slap does a lot if your name is not Steelix. So get rid of Steelix, get rid of a couple other things like Steel-type Silvally, and Chinchino can just run train through your entire team, and it's great. So there's the Seth Vilo Spice Shack.
Chinchino was always fun to use. I used him a lot in Gen 7. I played a lot of monotypes, and I always tried to make him work on the normal teams. There was just too many things that checked him, but if you can get rid of those, he blows right through the teams with Tail Slap.
That was one of the ones I liked pulling on randoms.
It was my favorite to get in randoms.
And then they gave Tail Slap to Ambipom.
Yeah. But anyway, that leaves us to the big tier that we are going to spend the most time on. That is OU. So, a couple things happened since last time. Number one, not soon after we had the last Battlecast, Darmanitan was quick banned.
Poor Chimpy.
I was very sad.
I was not.
I mean, I get everyone expected it to go. Everyone. It's just that it was a quick ban instead of a test. But
yeah, they made that thread that we talked about, the like on the radar thread, and it was very clear that it was over the top. So they ended up doing a quick ban. Thank goodness. And we have not seen another one yet. There is a lot of discussion in various threads in OU about Dugtrio Arena Trap or just Arena Trap in general, but we haven't seen anything official yet. So that's what's probably going to be next on the radar.
That makes sense. I mean, just because some of the ways it plays, it's not always the most fun. I get it. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't hate it either. But
yeah, they banned it last gen, finally. They tried for the longest time.
Yeah. And when like all the bulky walls or whatever, all the pivots have some kind of pivot move, the defensive pivots that you don't really just switch to, like Corviknight has U-turn. So, they send in their Corviknight counter, you U-turn to Dugtrio by Corviknight counter, and then it just kind of...
Yeah, it's just
fat.
Not fun gameplay.
Yeah.
It would be fine to go.
Yeah. And it helps with the Clefable problem with Dragapult. It helps clear the way for all sorts of things that are just way too much. It makes things too reliable. And I like unpredictability and irreliability on my OU teams. So a couple things rose to OU in January. What are those, Sigma? What are those three?
We had Como-O, which, thank God, that thing was a mess in UU. It was everywhere.
I don't know how it made it to UU. I'm very surprised.
I don't know either. People were busy playing with their new toys.
He's so good in OU. I just don't know how he was surviving in UU. Yeah. But I mean, he's where he needs to be.
It was new toy syndrome. It was new toy syndrome.
This is true.
Sure.
Mew and Sylveon are back in OU as well. And yeah, that makes sense. Sylveon was put down to UU because the Tapus existed, and the Tapus aren't here right now. So obviously Sylveon's back.
Yeah.
It's just a solid fairy type. And Mew does whatever you want it to do. And it'll
including now set toxic spikes, which is a thing.
Because that's okay. So, yep.
Does it get regular spikes too? I think it does.
I believe that is a TR. So yes.
Yeah. What a weird world we live in.
Good old Mew doing whatever it wants.
I like having a wild card. It's nice having something you just don't know what it's going to do. Mm-hmm. Makes it fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We mentioned that since the viability rankings of last time, Clefable bumped up to S rank alongside Corviknight because they're kind of the defensive backbones of a lot almost every team. I know all of mine, but I'm just fond of those Pokemon, so I'm going to not take guilt from that. Clefable's great, and so it's still up there. P McGee, tell us about your Dracovish addiction a little bit more.
So Dracovish, and I said this last time I was on too, Dracovish is one of those ones you have to plan around, even more so than Darmanitan. You have to have a way to stop it, even if it's not the most common or most popular at the moment. If your team has no solution, it can just wall right through if the team has good U-turning. So we've been seeing a lot of Seismitoad because that's what happens. Seismitoad does it the best, and it can set up rocks and Toxic. So there's a lot of things Seismitoad can do to annoy a team. But Dracovish is being pretty heavily countered right now. Almost every team is running a good counter to Dracovish because they just need to. But that is also leading to a lot of dead slot because since Dracovish has gone down in usage because people are countering it more, a lot of people are carrying mons they don't really want to carry. So Seismitoad is great. He's good. He does fine. But if he's not countering Dracovish, he's just not doing as much. And so his value to the team outside of that is less if Dracovish isn't there a lot. So I'm a little sad to see Dracovish going down. I have refused to give him up because he's just so fun to use and punish. And every time you get a free U-turn on a Clefable or something like that, you just get to knock something out. And I've been keeping Mandibuzz with me too for the last couple of months. And Mandibuzz is the best slow U-turner in the game right now, in my opinion. So it's just been really fun using him, but he's not as good. And so I'm going to stick with him because I think he's very cyclical. I think we're going to see Seismitoad go down in usage before long because less Dracovish are around. And that's going to lead to a rise in Dracovish again. And the Seismitoads will come back again to counter. And so it'll just be an up and down cycle with him. Right now we're on the down cycle.
Yep. It's never going to UU.
No, it doesn't belong there.
No, it'll bounce back and forth. It's like you said, it's a little leapfrog game. Now one's in front, now one's in front, now one's up. Some other people are trying different water absorbers though. Like Quagsire has now become known for water absorb, not for unaware, which was surprising. It has better physical defense than Seismitoad, so it can take the coverage moves of Dracovish a little bit better. Should you predict a switch in? That's part of the reason, and it has recover.
Yeah.
Gastrodon's another big one, but Gastrodon's less physically bulky than Quagsire, but it's got a lot more special defense, so it takes on other things like Hydreigon a little bit, Dragapult a little bit. It has different things that it can collectively check. Seismitoad is used, like you said, for its utility moves to itself, while Quagsire and Gastrodon are for what they also counter on top of Dracovish alone. I guess Jellicent is also a thing, but
water absorb in any flavor.
When Hydreigon's in the top and Aegislash is in the top and Dragapult is in the top, it's not a thing.
No, I've been seeing some Mantine usage just because it has a better special defense and it still has the water absorb, but even Mantine's not that common. It's usually Seismitoad, Quagsire, or Gastrodon are the most common three, and then we start to really get into some peculiar picks.
Yeah. Should Mantine get Defog back or Roost? It kept Roost, it lost Defog, I think. One of those moves. Pretty sure it's Defog. If it gets that back with Home, I think it might jump up a little bit just as an alternative hazard remover.
I can see that.
But who knows? It kind of gives it something to do that the others cannot. So it's kind of cool. Other things that are kind of popping. We mentioned Komodo, and it's got like 4 sets, like you said. And the Salix is terrifying. The Belly Drum is terrifying. One that I've liked, just because I'm basically Satan, is the physically defensive Komodo with Stealth Rock, Earthquake, Body Press.
Good old stab body press.
Body press off base 125 defense. And last move, maximum spice level, Iron Defense. You make yourself not only an impenetrable physical wall, but you also deal a whole lot of freaking damage off of stab body press.
Body press.
It's a sword stance and a defense at the same time. It's great. If you can get the Iron Defense in, it can kind of sort of at least dampen Dracovish a little, depending on who's in first, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I think when I've run into these sets, because it's not uncommon, the set isn't. I think I do less than 50. They're usually running leftovers as well. So I don't even get to 2-hit KO them standard, and then they start their iron defense body press shenanigans, and it's worrisome.
Yeah. It's a scary thing. It's a very scary thing. The thing that holds it back is things like Sylveon and Clefable. But, Sylveon is even a coin flip because it might have soundproof.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen some
true.
Sylveon running Moonblast or Dazzling Gleam, whichever one. I think it gets Moonblast.
Just for Komoos.
Just because Komo-o could be soundproof. But that kind of takes away from the reason you're running Sylveon, which is to scream at dragons through their substitutes. So it's kind of a mixed bag. But
Yeah, because it doesn't even
there.
get Psychic. It has Psyshock, which does, nothing.
Not to physically defensive Komo, no. Some other things in general, other than my crazy set, Cloyster is kind of popping off because it's just terrifying. People are finally realizing, oh yeah, there are setup moves instead of just being real big.
It's like, oh yeah, so we can Shell Smash, and then we hit 5 times, and sashes don't matter.
And it's not uncommon on teams with Grimmsnarl either, because he can set up the screens, and so you don't have to rely on the sash, and you can run things like King's Rock with Icicle Spear or Rock Blast, and then you're really off to the races.
Oh boy, that brings up Seth's Spice Rack. So you want to piss off your opponent, right? Like that's how you win. You make them so frustrated that they just forfeit. Well, Cloyster's one way you could do that, but another way you can do that is turn 1, lead Weavile, holding a King's Rock using the move Beat Up, which for those of you who don't remember, does...
Is it like a 10 base power for each Pokemon in your party?
I believe it's 20, and I want to make sure that I get this correct.
I feel like it was 10 at some point.
Because if I'm pulling this off my Spice Rack, I've got to make sure it's right.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be higher than 15, because I looked at multi-hit moves, and it wasn't the lowest.
Oh my, this is weird. It's real weird. It kind of uses each person's attack stat.
Yeah, no, it uses each Pokemon in your party's attack stat.
What?
To do like 20 power.
I don't remember this. Anyway, well, that's a fun thing. So Beat Up, it does like 10 or 15-ish base power. Divided by 10 plus 5. Yeah, it does something. That's not the point, though. The point is you get 6 hits, and you're holding a King's Rock. So King's Rock adds a 10% flinch chance to moves that don't normally have a flinch chance. And calculate it out, if it hits all 6 times with Beat Up, meaning if all 6 of your party is healthy, which is why you do this turn 1, it has a 47% chance to flinch if all 6 hits connect. So you met one of these, didn't you, P McGee?
I did. It was crazy because we talked about this like 2 hours. You talked about this 2 hours after it happened to me. I didn't know what I was running into. I thought it was just like some Choice Band or Choice Scarf Weavile trying to do something silly, which I should have known better because it was high enough on ladder. They don't do that. But he starts off with an Icicle Sphere, so I was like, okay, he's banded, no problem at all. I'll just switch out to my counter. And then he goes straight to Beat Up. And then I'm like, okay, well, that did like 40%. It's okay. I'll get him this turn. And then he flinches me on the second turn. And so now I lose a guy because I don't know what's going on. And then by the time I'm able to finally kill him with my Dracopult, I still take an Ice Shard. So in the process of killing a Weavile, which is not a very good mon, it's been reliably UU for a while now at best, it managed to knock out my mon and do more than like half to my other 2. And so that was just a really rough start because I had no idea what I was running into. So he's got some uses because a lot of things aren't coming into KO turn 1. You're going to run into a lot of like slow pivots or things that are just trying to pivot out. So he'll outspeed a lot. He'll threaten to flinch a lot. And then it just throws your whole game into a bit of a conundrum.
Yeah. And now that I know there's a little bit of weird attack changes, I'll have to look into this more, but stack your team with the right kind of attackers.
Gen 4 earlier, it was based on 10 base power. Now then it moved to 1 base power, and now it doesn't actually say on Cerebi, so I have no clue.
Oh, I'm looking at it now, and it's actually the user's attack alone, not each individual party member's attack.
Oh,
okay. That makes sense.
That somehow changes the base power. Like it's weird. I'll have to look it up. The point of it is it's stab dark, but it's to get 6 hits on something and have a nearly 50% chance of them flinching. That's what you do.
It's
I
scary.
remember the Pokemon Stadium where it brought each Pokemon out to show the attack.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
how I remember it. Way back in the day when it was bad. It was really bad back then.
You want to talk about timer stall? There's your timer stall. Anyway, there's a couple mons that are just trending downwards, probably as just aftermath from the Dynamax ban, and those are Togekiss, Gyarados, and Ditto are trending down. All those are just collateral from Dynamax being banned. Straight up.
Yeah, they were all big Dynamax abusers. So I'm
Max Airstream was the best move. So anything that can Max Airstream was having a really good time for that month. And then, Togekiss and Gyarados are among the best of them.
yeah, Gyarados isn't going to touch you though. I don't think. And if
No,
it does, it'll be sent away. Go back.
Yeah.
We don't allow that. I could see Corsola, Togekiss, and Ditto dropping though.
Yeah. Corsola is the other one that's dropping, and that's just, I think, new toy syndrome number 1, and people have realized that ghost types rule OU right now, number 2. Number 3, knockoff is coming. The knockoff apocalypse is coming when home lands and if movesets aren't reset. So
Yep. And then it'll probably
use your Corsolas while you can.
it'll probably land itself in RU or UU.
I think it'd be fine in UU. I think the biggest thing is that things like Dracopult and Hydreigon are very common, and they don't care about Corsola.
Yeah.
They blow right through it. They set up in front of it. They kind of do what they want to do. And Corsola did really well against Darmanitan, but since that's gone,
Whatever.
yeah. I liked him. I ran him for a couple of weeks in the beginning. He had his fun, and now it's time to find a new home.
So anyway, that pretty much wraps up OU. That pretty much wraps up all the tiers. Next month we'll have the NU tier to talk about as well. So get your not fully evolved garbage out. We'll have a place to talk about it.
Yep, get your
Eviolite will be on
Sylvallies and
everything.
Thievul's ready. Actually, Thievul's probably worse than it.
You're hilarious. Yeah.
Thievul's really bad.
Thievul's really bad.
They tried to put him in OU for a hot minute in the beginning. I think it was Specs Thievul or something like that. Or does he get unburdened too?
He gets unburdened.
Yeah,
But
I think he was doing some
doesn't have an
unburdened
attack stat,
shenanigans.
so it doesn't matter.
Why would you do that? It's so bad.
They wanted to
Anyway.
make it work. I'm not.
Greedent is probably going to be good down there.
You guys are killing me, but we're gonna talk about NU next month, so be excited for that. It's a whole new world. We'll see what makes it into that, what stays in the RU area. But other than that, that wraps up tier time. We're gonna hop over to what you clicked the link for, to the topic. So we'll be right back. Hey guys, Seth Philo cutting in to tell you about something awesome that I've been absolutely loving. Vite Ramen. If you guys know me, you know I have a borderline noodle addiction, and part of that love has always been a guilty pleasure for ramen. Well, Vite Ramen is ramen, but get this, it's actually good for you. You heard me right. The guys at Vite Ramen have spent years making ramen that's nutritionally complete, and I absolutely adore it. Each bowl has 30 grams of protein, which is more than your average protein shake, 7 grams of fiber, all 27 key vitamins and minerals that you need, and most importantly, tons of awesome flavor. Oh yeah, and did I mention it still only takes 4 minutes to prepare? It's basically still instant ramen. You can head over to viteramen.com and pick up soy sauce chicken, garlic pork, and my favorite, vegan miso flavors, as well as handy utensils and other such stuff. And here is the coolest part. At checkout, enter code PUCL, and you'll get 10% off your entire order. That's PUCL, all caps, for a whopping 10% off. Anyway, I gotta get back to rating, and you've got a show to finish. Catch you guys on the flip-flop.
And now for our main topic.
And welcome back. We are at the topic. We're talking about BSS, Battle Spot Singles, which is
Stadium singles. No.
Battle Stadium Singles. I thought it was Battle Spot. What was
It used to be.
You're just like Thatch.
Thatch can't correct himself either. It's fine.
Dang it. So it's
it
Battle
existed
Stadium.
for like 6 years. It's really hard to change.
You can
And they
use
kept the
that.
acronym.
too.
There, I fixed it in the notes. We're not redoing that because that was organic and hilarious. But Battle Stadium singles. So thank you guys for correcting me on that. Which is different than a lot of the Smogon type tiers that we normally cover. So that's why I wanted to take a little bit of time and have this explained to everybody as well as to me, because this is new to me as well, and you guys are in the UUTC. You've had direct experience with this particular set of rules and everything, so you're a little bit more experienced than I am. I've just been watching from the sidelines. So, Sigma, give me a little bit of a breakdown on what's different between Smogon rules, typically, and Battle Stadium singles.
Okay, so the first big thing is that instead of teams having like 6 Pokemon the entire battle, at the beginning of the battle, you see your opponent's team and you each pick 3 Pokemon from your team that you want to go up against theirs. That is the first and biggest change. Changes a lot on how you play. You don't have as many switch outs. The games don't last nearly as long. And there's a lot of strategy in what you open up with. And what you bring on your team to begin with, because it's a lot about predicting what your opponent has and what they're afraid enough to not bring. So, The other thing is item clause. So leftovers, you only get 1.
Yep. That's a rule that's not often thought about in Smogon things. You can only have 1 iteration of an item.
It's a lot bigger this generation because Mega Evolution and Z moves are not a thing anymore.
Oh, I didn't think of that. Wow.
So those usually took up 2 to 3 item slots on a Battle Spot singles team. On a Battle Spot singles team. That is correct usage.
But now that we're on Battle Stadium, there's none of that anymore.
Now that we're in Battle Stadium, you'll see a lot more Pokemon using their 20% boost items like Sharp Beak or Charcoal, depending on the Pokemon. You'll see a lot of berry usage just because you have to find 6 items to go onto your team, and you don't always want all those choice items. So,
No.
I'll let P McGee go from here.
Oh, yeah. I guess one of the last big changes is that one hit KO moves are legal. Moves like Guillotine, Sheer Cold. You'll see some mons running those. Things like Lapras will be running Sheer Cold because if you're in a pinch and you're against a Toxapex and you're a Lapras and you have nothing to really hurt it with, maybe Freeze Dry, but point being you have a 30% chance of at least knocking it out now, so it makes defensive walling a little harder. You don't really see a ton of, it's there, it still works, it's still successful, but less teams are trying to be defensive walls because it's really hard to get a good defensive core with only 3 mons because you need something that can KO, so you already down to 2 defensive mons at most from there, and they may or may not succeed. I think Ferrothorn's one of the more common ones I run into, and Gastrodon.
Ferrothorn, Toxapex, Gastrodon, Corsola. Corsola's still a thing.
Corsola has some good life here, in part because, things like Darmanitan can still exist here. So we see that around. But otherwise, it's even though the rules are different, you'll see a lot of the same mons. You'll see a lot of the same things that were popular in OU. They're just operating a little differently. There's different kind of synergies being formed with the teams, because you want to have different things happening. So, like I said, defensive play is not as common. We just don't see it as much. It's there. It's successful. Just not as much.
Yeah, there's pivoting.
We'll see more weakness policy. This speaks to what Seth was saying about the item clause. Sigma was saying about the item clause. There's less options for items, and weakness policy works better in this format because you're not doing as much switching around and pivoting. Because, again, you don't have a huge defensive core. You don't want your team taking a lot of hits. You only have 1 leftovers on the team. So your mon's just taking a bunch of hits repeatedly because you're trying to switch out and create a good scenario isn't really worth it. This format isn't so much poking and prodding like OU can be, just fishing for a hole and trying to punish for a mistake. It's more of, here's my win scenario. Let me try to establish it. See if I can run you over. Can you stop me? And so I think we see more of that going on in this tier. So as Sigma kind of illustrated before, the matches here are very commonly around 10 turns. In a standard OU match, they can usually exceed 30 without much surprise, if not longer if you're playing a Seth.
I think our tournament matches in the past have usually gone like 30 to 40 turns is where we liked them at. And that was usually where they sat at. Some are below 20 if it's like a wash, but
yeah,
not nearly enough zeros.
Well, yeah, the average OU match is around the 30 turn mark.
Yeah.
And these go much quicker.
Another thing I want to point out, this is a Nintendo format. This is an official Nintendo Game Freak, whatever you want to call it, format. So Dynamax is legal here. I don't think we mentioned that, which is also tagging into why weakness policy is so much better here. Because if you can double your HP, you can absorb that weakness and keep going.
Weakness policy Dragapult is a thing.
Yeah.
Yes. Weakness policy Dragapult, weakness policy Togekiss. I mean, there are a lot of things that like to run weakness policy.
Excadrill, Rhyperior.
Anything that can get its speed up normally is having a good time with weakness policy, or if they can do Trick Room. I've seen some Rhyperior. That's fun. When they can get going. But
Tyranitar is a good one.
Yep. Max Airstream is probably, like, I think I mentioned this last time too when we were talking about the Dynamax band. Max Airstream is just such a really, really good move because there's no punishment for using it like Max Knuckle or Max Ooze to boost your attack stats. Max Airstream comes in at that 130, 140. The flying mons still get their stab, especially things like Gyarados that don't normally want to run Bounce are happily using Bounce in this format because they can make it Airstream, get the boost, and then get the Moxie when they get the KO.
That's the grossest part, is to also get the Moxie.
It's a free Dragon Dance every time.
Thank goodness we don't have Salamence.
Yeah, the team that has been using.
Oh my gosh.
Halucha is scary with it too. The one Airstream gets you faster than the Dragapults, and then you're killing the Dragapults because they're Dragapults.
Yeah.
So what are some, you've mentioned a couple, what are some other good things that just thrive in Battle Stadium singles rather than OU that you either may see here more or in a different way? I know you guys have a couple that you've listed out.
So first off, Mimikyu is still an all-star like it was last generation. Generally,
even with that
you can
nerf too.
Yeah, generally you can. It doesn't get Sash anymore. Oh no, I'm so sad for it. Generally, you expect to see like a Sword Stance set with Double Ghost and Play Rough. So you have your Shadow Sneak, Shadow Claw. However, there are sets that get more inventive with it. You'll see Curse Mimikyu be a thing, just because switching isn't as big in Battle Spot or Battle Stadium.
Huh. Wow.
So you'll see Curse, you'll see Trick Room just to give yourself the momentum when Mimikyu dies. It's like, yeah, I'll let it Trick Room, I'll attack once, and then my opponent over there set up their Airstream, so now I'm faster, and I will destroy them. Things like that. Because it's a relatively safe Trick Room as long as it's not going against Excadrill.
Yeah. Well, even Excadrill it outspeeds, right? Unless the Excadrill
it outspeeds Excadrill. But if you're setting up Trick Room, you die. So it doesn't matter.
Yes,
and
it's a
the
trade-off.
big thing with that is the Mold Breaker that Excadrill could potentially run to just bust through disguise. So.
Oh yeah. Next up, you know what? We'll just talk about Excadrill because Mold Breaker is such a good ability in this format. Ignoring, say, fluffy doubles that are trying. Well, they're still probably going to set up on you because Baton Pass is still a thing. So it gets to Totengard Baton Pass. If it
Does double get Baton Pass?
Yes. It also gets agility. I've heard they run Payback instead, so they can hit Dragapults.
What?
But yeah, Excadrill's Mold Breaker helps it deal with Mimikyu very well. It just has great coverage between Earthquake, Iron Head. Usually you'll see a Rock attack, and you'll see something like Brick Break, Sword Stance, something along Fissure, I think, is a popular one.
Yeah.
Fissure or Horn Drill, I think it gets both of those.
Oh, I think you're right.
I think you're right.
I believe it does. And the common items you'll see on it are Focus Sash, because like I said, you don't switch much. So you also aren't going to see Rapid Spin on it too frequently, just because Stealth Rocks isn't as common of a thing down here.
No.
Pokemon will set it up occasionally if they find the free turn. It's like, oh, you're switching. Let's just get the Stealth Rock up, destroy any stashes you might have, things like that. But yeah, Excadrill is just a great Pokemon. You'll see Weakness Policy, Scarf. Good variety.
Yeah. And it can set up its own Sand, so Sand Rush sets can still do what they want.
Yeah, but usually you want the Mold Breaker because
usually,
Mimikyu.
Yeah.
Killing Mimikyu is worth it.
As rounding up the top four, because Mimikyu and Excadrill are both in the top four in usage right now, and the other two that are rounding that out are Dragapult, because Dragapult can just do basically whatever it wants. It can be the Spec set, doing Shadow Ball, Fire Blast, Thunderbolt, Draco Meteor, sometimes a U-turn in there just to pivot and break Mimikyu sashes or Mimikyu disguises if that's what's leading against you. There's some screen sets. They're not as common, but there's some screen setters.
Screens exist. Will-O-Wisp's still a thing.
Will-O-Wisp
Physical
still a thing.
sets. Yeah.
Not as common, but it's there.
Will-O-Wisp.
But it's got a lot of options. It's got a lot of coverage. It can do a lot of things, and it's fast. It's one of the fastest things in the meta right now. So it can it'll lead off. It'll, if you're playing it right, you're playing a timid nature. It'll speed tie with the other Dracopult. It doesn't care about Double-Wolf's ability because it was Fire Blast right through him.
Yep.
And it's such a cool Pokemon because, like you guys said, it can kind of do a little of everything.
And
as long as it's not, it's not broken, but it just has infinite variety to what
it's a jack of all trades kind of thing, and that's what I love about it. Is it kind of does everything okay.
It's not pulled in any direction too far apart from speed. It's like, it can use its special attack. It can use its physical attack, but it doesn't have quite the coverage you want to use it.
No.
Like I've seen Steel Wing on it, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep.
It does get Fly too, so it can Dynamax.
I've seen it. I've seen it a few times. I think they're a special set and they go straight to Max Airstream. I mean, power to them.
What on
I mean, they have weakness policy access. They might have Baton Pass. I'm not 100% on that one.
I don't think it does.
Okay. I know it's a TR, but...
Yeah. And then the last in the top 4 is Corviknight. Just kind of the same thing of what makes it so good in OU right now. It's bulky. It's got some options. It can run the Airstream as well. It's not as common, but it can do that. It still does the Iron Defense body presses or bulk ups. It doesn't really need to worry about defogging because, again, hazards aren't a big problem. So it has an extra slot to do things like taunt, do things like U-turn. It's got some options to it as well. And so it's just a good mon to have on your team if you need general coverage and you need some kind to generally wall things. And
but it's a lot less passive because it doesn't need defog like it does in OU. So
yeah, that's
it gets body press for that slot instead.
And he helps for Excadrill because Excadrill isn't hitting him with any stab moves for reasonable damage. So you can kind of set up in his face with your body presses if that's the way you're going. So he's got some options, which makes him really, really great.
Mm-hmm. You can taunt with it too if you really want to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, Dragapult does get Baton Pass because, like I said, it gets everything.
Oh my gosh. Here I am. I look like an idiot. Oh well.
I haven't
to be
seen
fair,
it yet.
I don't expect you to know what gets body or Baton Pass.
Yeah, I've deleted that from my memory too.
Especially Gen 8. I don't hold that against you.
It's not the best baton pass. It's not the best ghost baton passer right now.
No.
So there's not much reason to rerunning it that way.
No. I'm a pass dragon dances. Okay.
Poltergeist just self smashes instead.
I mean, you can pass the weakness policy boost too. I think Togekiss will do that too on occasion. Which is what gets us to the next point is that Max Airstream is a really good move.
Yeah. We can't say that enough this particular episode. That's a
list of
good move.
Pokemon that get it. Togekiss, my goodness. You'll see weakness policy Togekiss, but you'll also see super luck with scope lens Togekiss because if you're Dynamaxed, what does Serene Grace do for you? So you get those 50% chances of crit too.
Oh my gosh, that's gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually you'll see it with its fairy move, Dazzling Gleam, Fire Attack. You'll see Nasty Plot pretty commonly, and Airstream, or Air / Airstream. Gyarados, you get those Moxie boosts off your streams because that's okay. Charizard gets to set its own sun for its solar power while also getting Airstream to boost its speed. With that 100 base speed, it will outspeed anything at a +1 pretty much.
Pretty much.
Same with Hawlucha. It has a really high base speed to begin with, so once you get it to +1, you can usually Max Knuckle right afterwards too, because sure, that's fine. That's the first thing on our list that actually wants to use Max Knuckle and Airstream together.
Yeah.
It also has Mold Breaker as well.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, a lot of people use it for the Unburden, but its hidden ability is Mold Breaker, which also kills Mimikyu.
Yep.
Rotom Fan, surprisingly good.
I mean, it has Nasty Plot.
It has Nasty Plot, and then it just Airstreams faster than everything. Electric coverage is great. I think it runs Shadow Ball or Yeah, I think it just runs Shadow Ball or Dark Balls as its
What
class.
is it
Yeah.
with all these new sentences that I'm learning today?
Oh, yes.
Rotom Fan is good. Some people are recommending we put Sticky Barb on Clefable and OU. What is this world?
I know.
Flareon is OU?
Another Pokemon not on this list is Dracozolt because it randomly gets Air Slash, or not Air Slash. It gets Aerial Ace and Pluck to get Airstreams.
Oh my god.
And it had... we could mention Hustle being a great Dynamax use as well. So
Yep. Because unlike Dracovish, that actually persists through the other things because they're no longer jaw moves when Dracovish Dynamaxes,
Yeah.
but Hustle
it gets 100% accuracy with the Hustle boost. Durant is also popular because that's a thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
And then I guess some of the defensive cores we see, Grimmsnarl's not uncommon in this meta right now because he can T-Wave, so he can shut a lot of Dynamaxers down that might want to go for a sweep. Things like Dracopult or any of the Airstreamers really, Togekiss, Gyarados shuts them down with a Thunder Wave. He can put the walls up or the screens up with Reflect and Light Screen, no problem. And then he's got some pretty hard hit. He's got a solid attack stat, so he can really do some damage if he's allowed to attack. He doesn't get to always attack.
yeah,
but
it could use a bulk upset too, just to throw people off. But it put Espeon out of a job. Like,
yes,
why would you ever run Espeon when you can Grimmsnarl? It's sad, but
he's the best screen setter in the game right now, easily.
100%.
And then Ferrothorns, I think one of the most common defensive walls you'll see, just because he can Leech Seed Stall. He can do some solid damage output, unlike some of the other walls, so he can Power Whip or Gyro Ball really well, especially if you're facing someone that's trying to go for the Airstream stuff. You can do
I've seen some strong arguments for Bullet Seed over Power Whip.
I had a set running a Bullet Seed,
Really?
actually. Yeah.
Because you don't lose too much power, and you also don't make contact.
Yeah.
So
I've
if
seen
you
it.
ever get in a Ferrothorn v Ferrothorn war, you win.
Yep.
It's a slow win, but it's a win.
You get there eventually.
Good body press. Ferrothorn gets body press.
Oh,
I imagine we'll see Ferrothorn with body press when Magnezone comes out.
oh, absolutely. It's like, oh, I don't care about you, Magnezone.
now that you don't
gonna
have
do to
hidden
me?
power fire.
Where's your magnetic fire? Magnetic heat.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't have that? Well, I've got body press, so go away.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay. And rounding out, Rotom is still very solid in this just because there's not a lot of pivoting going on in this, but Rotom still pivots very well, especially if the opponent's not running Excadrill or you know where the Excadrill is. It's a really easy Volt switch into something else. So he can just get out really easily. He can run Scarf sets. He can run Trick sets. He can run Will-O-Wisp or Thunder Wave. There's a lot of things he can do, come in and out, and then just be a nuisance for a while.
Yep. They can still run their choice trick sets from OU's past. They are really scared of Excadrill, though.
They're very scared of him.
Yeah, because Mold Breaker just doesn't care if they're floating or not.
Nope.
Nope.
Let's see. Darmanitan, still illegal, but not as scary as it was in OU.
Yeah, in a Dynamax world, Darmanitan's not as bad because Guerrilla Tactics does not persist through Dynamax. So
Yeah. He doesn't have any fun against the Dynamaxers because he can't really threaten them the same way he'd like to. And he can't Dynamax back to really counter because it's a waste because he has no speed boost, he has no attack boost. He's just he's solid, but that's it. You're hitting as hard as you would have hit before.
Pokemon. He does lots of damage.
Yes.
That's what he does.
yeah, and loses a choice band if he Dynamaxes.
You need an
so-
answer. You still do need an answer, but
Yep. Which is Mimikyu, because Mimikyu just play roughs against him and then Shadow Sneaks, and that's it.
Yep.
But
Yeah, I think the big thing is, like, you guys mentioned that these games are different than regular Smogon things, and they're sometimes 10 turns, but sometimes I feel like, and you guys have probably experienced this, but like on turn 1, you lose. That's
that just can happen. But you can just get into the next game right away, and you learn your mistake. It's like, oh, okay, yeah.
so I think that's one of the big things about this format is with OU, you kind of know what the whole team is, so you can say, okay, this is the most logical lead. I can if they send out this, I can back off into this, and kind of keep prodding and jabbing and trying to find an opening. But with OU or with BSS,